Black Diablos is making its return to Monster Hunter now. The first time it appeared, a lot of us were not ready to face this beast, but this time we are more than ready to face this challenge. So in this video, here are two builds you can make out of the Black Diablos armor pieces. One will focus on heroics and one will focus on the new skill, resentment. These mix sets are just some build ideas to help you get the most out of the Black Diablos materials you will be getting from the event. Now let's start off with the heroics build. Now heroics is a skill that gives your hunter increased attack power when your health drops below 30%, or when your health bar is glowing red. This skill offers the highest possible attack buff in Monster Hunter now, and it gives your hunter a maximum of 50% increase in attack power when you have 5 points in heroics. That's why for this build, we will prioritize maxing out the heroic skill. And to do that, we will need the following armor pieces. The Diablos Helm upgraded to grade 6, the Diablos Vambraces, and the Black Diablos Legs to give us 5 points in heroics. To increase our damage further, we equip the Black Diablos Mail for 2 points in resentment. The waist is flexible, and you can equip any armor skill you want. You can equip the Paolumu Waist for Divine Blessing, which will help keep you alive, but you're free to equip whatever you want. Currently in Monster Hunter now, the only weapons that can truly take advantage of the heroic skill is the Greatsword and the Sword and Shield. These weapons can guard attacks and take just the right amount of chip damage to get the health bar below 30% to activate heroics. But Lance is coming this December, and that's another weapon that can potentially take advantage of the heroic skill. Now heroics is the only skill that offers 50% increase in attack power, and that's currently the highest possible attack buff in Monster Hunter now. If you compare it to the other skills in this game, Offensive Guard only gives you 40% max increased attack, and Burst only gives you 30% max attack for 4 seconds. The reason why heroics gives such an insanely high damage buff is because it's very difficult to pull off. In Monster Hunter now, you can't initiate hunts if your health bar is below 30%, which is exactly what heroics requires to activate. So during the hunt, you need to intentionally take just the right amount of damage to not die, but also to activate the heroic skill. And that's a very fine line between life and death that you need to thread. That's why we need weapons that can take just the right amount of chip damage to activate heroics. And since we're already taking some damage, might as well take advantage of it by adding the resentment skill to our builds, which will give us more attack power when we take damage. With this build, you can get a maximum of 65% increase in attack power thanks to the combined buffs from heroics and resentment. Now I kept this build fairly simple to make. There's only 2 Black Diablos pieces and none of them need to be upgraded to grade 6. But if you can only craft 1 Black Diablos armor piece, then for a budget build, I suggest crafting the Black Diablos legs. It already has level 1 heroics straight out of the box, and it rounds out the build with 5 points in heroics. Then you can swap out the mail for the Rathalos armor piece to get weakness exploit, and you can equip the pink Rathian waist to get more affinity. This build does not have the lock-on skill, and for some, it might be a bad thing. Now if you want lock-on, you need to craft the Black Diablos waist. It has the lock-on skill, but you need to upgrade it to grade 6 to get that extra point in heroics. If you have enough materials to upgrade the Black Diablos waist to grade 6, then you don't need to craft the Black Diablos legs anymore, and you can swap it out for another armor piece. Now let's move on and let's talk about another Black Diablos build, which now focuses on the resentment skill. This mix set is a new and improved guard build for the Sword and Shield. It has the right balance between defense and offense thanks to the resentment skill and the offensive guard skill. For this build, you will need the following armor pieces. the Black Diablos helm, which needs to be upgraded to grade 6, and the Black Diablos mail for resentment, the Black Diablos legs and the regular Diablos waist for offensive guard. Both need to be upgraded to grade 6. And lastly, the grade 6 Baroth arms for guard level 2. Rounding out the build with 3 points in resentment, 3 points in part breaker, 2 points in guard, and 2 points in offensive guard. So the main game plan of this build is to block attacks and get some chip damage. With 2 points in guard, most monster attacks will still deal a bit of chip damage when blocked. And that chip damage is essential when it comes to activating the resentment skill. And if you block attacks just before you get hit, you activate offensive guard. So with this build, if you perfectly block attacks and get chip damage, you get a 35% attack increase for 10 seconds, a 20% attack buff from the resentment skill, and an additional 15% from offensive guard. So even if you don't get perfect blocks every time, you still get a 20% increased attack. Not bad. Now, this build will be very expensive, both in terms of potions, since we will need to take a lot of chip damage, and it will also be expensive in terms of zennies. A lot of the armor pieces need to be upgraded to grade 6. It actually needs 2 grade 6 Black Diablos armor pieces for this build to work. So this build is truly for those who are blessed by the RNG gods. Plus, this build takes a lot of skill to pull off its maximum damage potential, and offensive guarding takes a lot of practice. If you think about it, this build is perfect for the lance, and I just can't wait to get my hands on that weapon. I'll be uploading more in-depth guides for these builds once I have enough materials to craft the Black Diablos armor pieces we need for these builds. You don't want to miss out on that, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you have other versions of heroics or resentment builds, be sure to leave them in the comments. I'd love to check them out. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like to support the channel. Check out the video on the screen, but that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.